friends, how are you all? Hope you are doing well and safe at your home. As in previous lecture we have started studying chapter 6 staffing of your business studies book. In this video I am going to explain selection process. So let's study selection process. The process of selection begins after an adequate number of applicants are secured through different sources of recruitment. The prime motive of selection process is to solicit the maximum possible information about the candidate to ascertain their suitability for employment in terms of their qualification, experience, knowledge, skills required for the job. The main steps in the process of selection are preliminary interview, selection test, employment interview, reference and background analysis, selection decision, physical examination, job offer and employment contract. Now let's see all these steps in detail. So number 1 is preliminary screening. On the basis of preliminary screening of application by screening committee, unqualified candidates are eliminated. Other suitable applicants are called for the first round in interview, known as preliminary interview. Preliminary interview is used to reject misfits for the reasons why are not known from the application form, which are not known from the application form. This interview is normally quite brief and is generally conducted to have an initial assessment of candidates' abilities, motives, and attitude towards the organization. It gives an idea of general education, experience, confidence level, etc. of candidates. So, preliminary screening helps the manager eliminate unqualified or unfit job seekers based on information supplied in the application forms. Preliminary interviews help reject misfit for reasons which did not appear in the application forms. Next one is selection test. So, a selection test is an instrument designed to measure selected psychological factors. Many organizations hold different kinds of selection tests to judge the candidate's traits and abilities, likes and dislikes, hobbies, capacity to learn, and their adaptability, etc. Selection tests normally supplement information provided in application form. The type of test to be conducted depends on the requirement of the organization. The common tests conducted by organizations are aptitude test, personality test, then trade test, intelligence test, performance test, mental ability test, medical aptitude test, psychomotor test, or any kind of tailor-made test can be conducted by the organization to judge the capabilities of employees required for the job. So, an employment test is a mechanism, either a paper and pencil test or an exercise that attempts to measure certain characteristics of individuals. These characteristics range from aptitudes such as manual dexterity to intelligence to personality. Important tests used for selection of employees are discussed in details now. So first of all, intelligence test. Intelligence test measures the mental ability, mental capacity and general intelligence of the candidate. Most of these tests are framed by psychologists. The test usually includes verbal comprehensions, word fluency, memory, reasoning, speed of perception, spatial, etc. This is one of the important psychological test used to measure the level of intelligence quotient of an individual. It is an indicator of a person's learning ability or the ability to make decisions and judgments. Next test is aptitude test. Aptitude tests are meant to measure an individual's capacity to learn a given job. If the candidate is given proper training, this test is more valid when the applicants have no experience or very little experience along with the lines of the jobs. IQ tests are one kind of an aptitude test. So, it is a measure of individuals' potential for learning new skills. It indicates the person's capacity to develop. Aptitude tests are good indices of a person's future success score. Third one is trade test. Trade test helps to measure the existing skills of the candidate related to vacant job positions. This method is generally used to recruit typists, stenographers, telephone operators, and motor drivers, etc. This test may be both theoretical and practical. It is an effective method of recruiting competent and efficient employees. So it measures the level of knowledge and proficiency in the area of professions or technical training. Alright. Now, next test is personality test. This test is used to measure candidates' fundamental dimension of personality. Dimensions of personality include ambition, leadership, ability, self-confidence, patience, behavior under stress, etc. Ink blot tests are a kind of personality test. So it provides clues to a person's emotion, her reactions, maturity and value system, etc. These tests probe the overall personality. Hence, these are difficult to design and implement. Next one is interest test. It is designed to discover a person's area of interest and to discover the kind of jobs that will satisfy him. This test indicates only the interest of the candidate but not his ability to do it. It is assumed that candidate who is interested in a job can perform better than a person who is not interested. Obviously, if you are not interested in studying any subject, though you can study, but it's very difficult for you to induce to teach that subject. So every individual has fascination for some job than the other. Interest tests are used to know the pattern of interest or involvement of a person. Alright. Next one is employment interview. So after selection test, employment interview is followed in selection process. Interview is a formal conversation between interviewer and applicant conducted to judge the applicant's acceptability in terms of his ability to fit into the company's culture and his motives in joining the concern. The panel of experts is called for conducting interview. The interview is also important for the candidate to know about the company as much as possible and also to clarify their queries regarding working condition, salary, etc. So, interview is a formal, in-depth conversation conducted to evaluate the applicant's suitability for the job. The role of an interviewer is to seek information and that of the interviewee is to provide the same. Though in present times the interviewee also seek information from the interviewer. Next step is reference check. In the application form, the candidates are asked to provide the names and addresses of references from whom more information about the candidate can be collected. References may be called upon on telephones or contacted through email to obtain additional information to be recorded. Such information may be related to his character, reputation, past employment record, etc. References are not given adequate importance because most of the times the references are biased. So, many employers request name, addresses and telephone numbers of references for the purpose of verifying information and gaining additional information on an applicant. Previous employers, known persons, teachers and university professors can act as references. Alright. Now next step is selection decision. This is very important step as entire selection processes depend on accurate decision. The candidate who passes test, interview, reference check are included in the selection test. The final choice is made from among the candidates included in the selection list by taking the opinion of the manager under whom the selected person will work. So, the final decision has to be made from among the candidates who pass the test, interview and reference checks. Now here is a tip for you. The views of the concerned manager will be generally considered in the final selection because it is he or she who is responsible for the performance of the new employee. Next step is medical examination. The selected candidates are required to undergo a medical fitness test. This will ensure that the candidate is physically fit and is capable to exercise his responsibilities because it is known fact that healthy mind stays in healthy body. A person of poor health may generally be absent from work and training given to him may go waste. So, after the selection decision and before the job offer is made, the candidate is required to undergo a medical fitness test. The job offer is given to the candidate after being declared fit in the medical examination. So, next step is job offer. Exactly. The candidates who are declared medically fit are given job offer through a letter of appointment. In this letter, the date of joining, pay scale, post of which selected, terms and conditions, etc. are mentioned. So, next, those applicants who have passed all the previous hurdles will get job offer. It is made through a letter of appointment. Such letter generally contains all required details of employees. The appointee must be given reasonable time for reporting. Alright. So next step is, which is last step in the selection process, that is contract of employment. So after the acceptance of job offer by a selected applicant, he becomes an employee of the organization. A written contract of employment is framed in which information related to his job title, responsibilities, rate of remuneration, leave rules, allowances, working hours, etc. is specified. The candidate has to submit various attested documents while entering into contract of employment. After job offer, candidate accepts the offer. Certain documents need to be executed by the employer and the candidate, like attestation form, contract of employees, etc. Alright, in next video we will discuss some case studies based on this concept of selection process. Have a nice day.